On the news, military declares 8 wanted for killing of soldiers in Delta State. Senator Ningi calls suspension over budget padding allegations illegal, gives Akpabio 7 days to revoke it. And federal government to arraign Binance, 2 others, on April 4 for alleged tax evasion. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simsola Adugun. The Defense Headquarters has declared 8 persons wanted over their roles in the recent killing of 17 military personnel in Delta State. The military released the list on Thursday at a briefing in Abuja. This comes barely 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu honored the murdered soldiers' children with federal government scholarships to the university level, among others. Briefing journalist, Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, enjoined the Nigerian public, whom he described as the first line of intelligence for the military, not to withhold credible information that would lead to the arrest of the wanted persons as well as any other enemy of the state.
Accordingly, we all have a collective responsibility of doing right. That said, a banner for the wanted persons involved in the killing of the 17 soldiers that were buried yesterday is hereby released to the press. And we encourage citizens, particularly those in Delta State, to assist in the investigation by flushing these persons out. What we do in a situation where there is tension is to de-escalate it. And where it has gone out of hand, we contain it to make sure it doesn't spread. So what has happened in Delta must never repeat itself. And it is for that reason that we have put out this banner of 8 persons, including a woman, as wanted persons. We will do whatever it takes to get these people. If we need to put a bounty on their head, we will do that.
Still on security, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters says it released 313 terrorism suspects to the Borno government in compliance with the orders of the Federal High Court in Maiduguri. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who clarified this on Thursday in Abuja, said the suspects were detained on suspicion. However, no evidence was found against them after an investigation. According to him, the cases were prosecuted by the Federal Ministry of Justice, wherein the court ordered their release.
Troops of Operation Hadinkai recorded a significant occurrence during the week. And this was as a follow-up to a court order of the Federal High Court in Maiduguri. The court ordered that a total of 313 suspects in detention for terrorism-related offenses to be released to the Borno State government. The court ordered the release for want of evidence after the conclusion of investigation and other ancillary matters. Now, these cases were prosecuted by the Department of Prosecution, Federal Ministry of Justice. And I wish to add that it is not the first time this will happen. It is a routine where they come, they check the cases of those awaiting trial, and then where they find that there is insufficient evidence, they order that those people in detention be released. So accordingly, we will hand over the released persons to Borno State government for further action.
The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, says value addition will be the fundamental standard for mining operations in the country going forward. The Alake said this during a tour of the $600 million African Natural Resources and Mines Limited facility in Kaduna State, which hosts the mining and processing of magnetite iron ore. The minister also restated the position of the federal government to refrain from granting mining licenses to companies without requisite plans for value addition. This report has details. The African Natural Resources and Mines Limited facility is one of Nigeria's largest non-oil FDI investment of over $600 million, with a mining capacity of over 6 million tons per annum. Having a solid integrated iron ore mining, processing and steel production capacity, the plant is the first of its kind. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development and his counterparts in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment are here to see things for themselves. They were taken round the massive facility where they saw the production process firsthand. Addressing a reception after their tour, the ministers commended the management of the organization for its vision, dedication and tenacity to bring to fruition the substantial investment of $600 million over the past 7 years. They also expressed confidence in the company's ability to contribute significantly to the nation's economic growth trajectory in support of the Bola Tinubu-led administration's efforts for economic transformation.
When I assumed duties August last year, and I rolled out my own 7-point agenda for the solid mineral sector of Nigeria, a critical part of that 7-point agenda is local value addition for mines, for minerals. And in fact, at various international fora and even local, I've continued to reinstate and reemphasize this very significant point. This is a company that is worthy of emulation, and I commend the GMD for this very remarkable achievement. Myself and the Minister of Trade have gone around and we've seen the massive investment. In fact, it's reputed to be the largest foreign direct investment into the mineral sector in Nigeria.
The steel industry is about to see a boom. In that infrastructure development fund and the plan itself of the president, steel being a major focus area will be a major component for the rail industry that will be developing. Now, the president in that infrastructure plan has actually opened up the economy to develop and build more roads, more rail.
In his address, the Group Managing Director of African Industries Group reflected on the firm's journey that commenced in 2016 with land acquisition in Gujeni, which has culminated in the establishment of a fully integrated iron ore mining and processing plant. He pledged that the project will be fully utilized to make real wealth for Nigeria.
We have a mining capacity of over 6 million tons per annum. The direct reduced iron produced here will be a direct substitute for ferrous scrap currently used as raw material for producing steel in Nigeria. It will also gradually position Nigeria as a prominent crude steel producer globally.
The federal government says the mining facility is a testimony of its commitment to reduce steel importation, promote local manufacturing, boost foreign reserves, and contribute to gross domestic product. Simisola Adigun, TV360 News. Senator representing Bauchi Central Abdul Ningi has given Senate President Godswill Akpabio a 7-day ultimatum to lift his suspension from the upper legislative chamber. In a letter dated March 27 and addressed to Akpabio through Femi Falana, his counsel, the senator said he would approach a federal high court for his reinstatement if the suspension is not lifted within 7 days. Early this month, Ningi sparked controversy when he alleged that the 2024 budget was padded by 3 trillion naira and that the country is operating 2 budgets concurrently. Subsequently, the Senate debated the matter at the Committee of the Whole. The senator was thereafter suspended for 3 months for allegedly not providing evidence to back his claim. Following the allegations of budget padding made by Senator Abdul Ningi, some have condemned the call for Senator Godswill Akpabio's resignation and queried what the Senate President had done to warrant such action. Speaking exclusively to TV 360 Nigeria, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Kasim Afegwa, Senator Ningi can be called back only on the condition that he tenders an unreserved apology to the Senate. According to Afegwa, Senator Ningi put the Senate in bad light by not seeking an explanation on the authenticity of the allegations.
If Senator Ningi has shown any sign of penitence, he should be excused and recalled back and made to face the Senate and tender an unreserved apology for bringing the Senate to public ignominy and opprobrium. This has nothing to do with ego. It has nothing to do with personality clash. It's just a matter of just understanding that you are first among equals. That's the Senate President now, and that all the other senators are also colleagues. They are equal. So, if you know you have put the Senate, as it were, in bad light by not seeking explanation as to the authenticity of what you were talking about, and you have seen that you actually erred, in terms of procedural, consideration, you have to apologize to them and let's move on. You see, the Senate, this is my personal advice, the Senate must consciously ensure that they improve on their public image and public relations in terms of making Nigerians to see them as a credible platform where the aspirations of the people can be met with respect to lawmaking, and also setting an agenda for an executive that is ready to deliver on the services. The kind of image that the Senate has, we don't even take time to even rationalize a number of things. Once we hear that it is Senate or House of Rep, we want to just slaughter them without even giving them a thought for explanation. When I listened to Senator Yayi, that's Adeola Olamilekan, I was impressed that offhand he was able to dish out those allocations, stating the statutory ministries and the parastatals and agencies, and summing up the figure that Senator Ningi picked hold about. So it's a matter of just applying a little patience, doing due diligence, and ensuring that you're able to ask the right questions.
The Dangote Foundation, owned by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has donated 80,000 of 10-kilogram bags of rice to Lagos State government for distribution to vulnerable residents in the state. Dangote, who chairs the foundation, says the gesture is part of its National Food Intervention Program aimed at distributing over 1 million 10 kg bags of rice to vulnerable people across the 774 local government areas of the 36 state and Federal Capital Territory FCT from March to early April 2024. Our correspondent Tamilore Akinkuolie has more on this story.
It's a continuation of the Dangote Foundation's rice distribution initiative, which was flagged off in Kano State recently and will cut across the country over the next 2 weeks. The rice distribution is coming at a crucial time when people are being hit hard by the cost of living crisis in the country, caused by galloping inflations, especially food inflation. Receiving the batch meant for the vulnerable in Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the supply would shore up the state-led interventions and help to alleviate the food shortage caused by inflation.
The chairman of Dangote Foundation for extending his kind gesture to the weak, the vulnerable, who are usually the most affected in our society. When difficult things happen, when flood happens, when you see issues of multidimensional poverty, it's usually the bottom of the pyramid that are usually affected the most. And I want to thank you for once again coming out to support us in government. Also, the message is being passed on this occasion is for others, of similar minds to rise up, to join, and to be able to stand counted. It's a period of our country where both the government and private sector needs to take joint responsibility. We need to have a way of ameliorating the pains that is being experienced by our people.
Speaking along the same vein, the Lagos State Commissioner for Agriculture says the donation came at the right time to ease the cost of living crisis for many in the state.
This administration has shown to the people of Lagos, particularly with the Eco Cares umbrella initiative, dovetailing to transportation, to food, to health, to education, and to so many other sectors. This just goes to show that, yes, indeed, we can't do this alone. We need civil society organizations, we need NGOs, we need private sector to collaborate with us in ensuring that the downtrodden, the vulnerable are taken care of and that we are indeed our brother's keepers.
In his remarks, Aliko Dangote said the gesture underscored the Dangote Group's commitment to exhibiting the spirit of compassion and solidarity with the vulnerable.
At the heart of the Aliko Dangote Foundation lies a deep-seated belief in the importance of nutrition in human capital development. We understand that access to nutritious food is the only basic human right, but also a critical determinant of good health and well-being. We are not only looking to alleviate immediate hunger, but also investing in the long-term health and prosperity of our communities.
The government says it will begin the immediate distribution of rice to the vulnerable across the state. This initiative is expected to further support the state government's palliative measures, which include a reduction in transport fare, discounted food markets, and affordable health care, among others. Tamilore Akinkolye, TV360, Lagos.
The federal government has declared Friday, March 29 and Monday, April 1, 2024 as public holidays to mark the celebrations of the 2024 Good Friday and Easter Monday, respectively. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo made the declaration on behalf of the federal government in a statement by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry on Wednesday. He called on Christians to imbibe the virtues of Jesus Christ as they are capable of impacting positively on the socio-economic development in Nigeria by fostering unity, reducing conflict, and encouraging cooperation among Nigerians. We'll take a break, but still to come, UN Chief urges end to waste in commemoration of the 2024 International Day of Zero Waste. Stay with us, we'll return shortly. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Defense Headquarters has declared 8 persons wanted over their roles in the recent killing of 17 military personnel in Delta State. The military released the list on Thursday at a briefing in Abuja. Briefing journalist, Director, Defense Media Operations Major General Edward Buba enjoined the Nigerian public, whom he described as the first line of intelligence for the military, not to withhold credible information that would lead to the arrest of the wanted persons as well as any other enemy of the state. We also told you that Senator representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi, has given Senate President Godswill Akpabio a 7-day ultimatum to lift his suspension from the upper legislative chamber. In a letter dated March 27 and addressed to Akpabio through Femi Falana, his counsel, the senator says he would approach a federal high court for his reinstatement if the suspension is not lifted within 7 days. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on NYMEX World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Well, let's now join Okoyemi Owosheni for more stories in the world of business. Okoyemi, what's the latest?
Well, Simisola, the federal government says it will arraign Binance Holdings Limited and its two top officials on April 4th on allegations bordering on tax evasion. Tigran Gambrian and Flynn Nadim Anjwala, listed as first to third defendants respectively, are expected to be arraigned before Justice Emeka Nweti of the Federal High Court Abuja on a 4-count charge. Anjwala, who has been in detention alongside Gambrian, was said to have escaped from lawful custody on Friday from the Abuja guest house, where he and his colleague were detained. The charges leveled against Binance include allegations of tax fraud and complicity in aiding customers to evade taxes through its platform. Still on business, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Africa has organized a business growth series which brought together experts to educate startups and micro entrepreneurs on how to grow and sustain their businesses. This series was held on Wednesday in Lagos. Speaking at the event, organizers and experts highlighted accountability and taking on excess tax at the same time as some of the mistakes small businesses make. Participants at the series said the knowledge they have acquired is invaluable as they will apply it in their day-to-day businesses.
The idea of Business Grocery is to create a platform for MSMEs to come listen to fellow entrepreneurs and experts in the ecosystem, come speak to them about things that they need to know. So we just, we all need to have access to information, to knowledge. Let's bring in people who have run business for some time. Let's bring in people who also are experts in that specific field. Let them come and tell people what they need to know. Let them interact, let them network, let them ask questions, let them probably meet the next business partner. Many of them saying that we saw these opportunities in the MSME Africa community, we applied for it, we got grants, we got opportunities for an accelerator, for incubator. So we have always provided them information. We also help them to know how to apply for these opportunities, what is happening, what is the next government policy. So we've been able to keep them abreast of what is happening. We've been able to give them access to opportunities to become better, to win grants, to get funding, to learn the next knowledge that they need to get, to also prepare them for the future.
We were taught on different areas on how to leverage technology to move our business to greater heights and how to assess opportunities from governments, Lagos State, federal government and the likes, and also how to pitch. If you apply for grants, how do you pitch, and some other opportunities that comes with it.
We'll go on a short break and be back with Stock Market Report. Glad to have you back. Nigeria's equities market furthered its northward trend by 0.27% on Thursday, its second positive close after a recent hike, with the market capitalization at 59.13 trillion naira. Now, the market breadth also ended on a positive note as 39 stocks advanced and 16 stocks declined. Morrison Industries led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 1 naira 76 kobo per share, followed closely by Ikeja Hotel, which closed at 6 naira 43 kobo per share. Now, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NGX, a total of 623 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 10,257 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 16 billion. Now, compared with the previous NGX trading day, today's data shows 25% improvement in volume, 37% improvement in VIX, and 37% improvement in turnover. Now, on the foreign side, it's also a similar case as the UK FTSE and US Dow Jones maintained a northward movement and ended in the bulls at 0.26% and 0.0084%. But it's a different case, however, for Japan's Nikkei, as it closed from the positive gain the previous day, that's Wednesday, to go to a southward movement on Thursday and ended in the bears at 1.46%. Well, that's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simisala, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okoyemi. And on the foreign scene, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has emphasized the importance of ending the destructive cycle of waste. During an event commemorating the March 30 International Day of Zero Waste held at the UN headquarters, Guterres called on nations to embrace a waste-wise ethos, envisioning a world free from waste.
Our planet is drowning under a torrent of trash. Every year, humanity produces more than 2 billion tons of municipal solid waste. Rotting food, plastic bottles, chemical-laced electronics, and much more are tossed away without regard for our water, land, and air. As trash decays, it spews planet-warming greenhouse gases into our atmosphere, poisons our water and soil, and inflicts illness, disease, and even death among people around the world. Overconsumption is killing us. Humanity needs an intervention. Since last year, the Advisory Board on Zero Waste has been bringing partners together around this critical issue and what needs to be done to make zero waste a reality. Businesses must rethink their products to minimize wasteful packaging and maximize longevity and life cycle. Consumers must think twice about the goods and products they purchase and recycle or reuse wherever possible. Governments at all levels must build circular economies that address resource depletion and management and invest in modern waste management programs anchored in reuse, remanufacturing, recovery, and waste prevention. And the global community must stand as one and work towards achieving a legally binding treaty to end plastic pollution. On this Zero Waste Day, let's pledge to end the destructive cycle of waste once and for all.
And on sports, Nigeria's women's national basketball team, the Tigress, have been drawn in Group B alongside Australia, France and Canada at this year's Olympic Games. The Federation of International Basketball Association, FIBA, announced the fixtures for the women's basketball event on Wednesday. Led by coach Rena Wakama, the team will take on Australia on July 29 in their opening Group B game at the competition. This is the team's third appearance at the Olympic Games after their debut at the Games in Athens 2004 before a second appearance at Tokyo 2020. That's it on News Now. Thank you for watching. See you next time.